So today, everybody gets to meet my bestie. This was a little unplanned, but well overdue.
And we're used to winging it, so
That's what
let's
we
go.
do. That's what we do. So we're going to talk about all, I don't even know exactly what we're going to talk about. First of all, I should probably say your name. Well, they've heard of you a million times. Erin Thorburn, the
Yes.
magnificent.
Oh,
So
well,
Erin and I have known each other now for what, 17 years? Is that about right?
it sounds right.
16, about
A
ish.
long time.
A long time, and, I met Aaron, 17 or so years ago because and this is such a fun story for us, I don't know if it's fun for anybody else, but you emailed me and you were getting your writing career started, and you addressed me as Ms.
Here we
Lyons or Ms.
go.
Oh my god, I know, I have to tell it because it was like, "What?" And
It
you
was
said
either Miss Lyons or Mrs. Lyons.
one either way, it was not good, and
Yeah.
so, just because it made me feel archaic, and so, you just were so kind, and you said, like, "Hey, well, you had found out about me because your then husband had purchased a copy of what was then titled Ready or Not, Here We Go, my book for the
Mhm.
first year with twins, and you were expecting twins, and I have twins, and so it was a whole thing, and so you had written about that, and then you said, "Look, if you wouldn't be would you do you have any words of wisdom or advice?" And I was like, "Of course not, none of us know what we're doing." And so we ended up going back and forth over email, and at the time you lived in Kansas City, Missouri, right?
Correct.
And then you messaged me and said, "Well, my, again, then husband just got a job in on the west side of Phoenix. I don't even know where this place is. It's called Buckeye. All I know is I looked it up online and there was a rodeo and I don't feel great about this." And I said,
Funny and ironic coming from Kansas City because you might think,
"True. That's
continue.
true and fair." But I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my God, like you need to call me right now." Because and then fast forward, you moved 2 blocks from me.
The email from you said in all caps, "Shut it down. You need to call me right this minute."
Cause I was like, what are the
What
What are
chances?
the chances of that? Okay, so fast forward, and now we've lived through being in the author space and many other spaces, which we're going to talk about because we've lamented, there are not many instances where people become a full-time author and then get to do that and only that, unless they have someone else supporting them financially, which many people are blessed to do, or they have the point is most authors have a secondary, if not a tertiary. I just used tertiary source of income. And so we've done that over the years. We've raised these twins plus, because you have one other, I have three others. And you are in a completely different space in the author space that I am because you do children's books and would we call it like, I just call it robot stuff.
That would
It's,
be sci-fi, but robot
yeah,
stuff is perfect.
robot stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that you sent me once some pages from the
It was
current
a robot
robot stuff.
story.
Yeah, and I got into it.
Well, blessed news,
It was blessed news, and I think it's a
especially
testament to
for
your
you.
writing because yeah, but I wanted to so I don't there are certain areas of this field, of this space where I don't have personal experience. One is writing about robots, and the
Yes.
other is children's books, and I've written 3 children's books, I have yet to publish them. And
Mhm.
so navigating that with you was Scaredy Cat wasn't the first one, was it?
Stick to It Chick was the
Stick
first one.
to It Chick. Yes. And was that before or after the app?
Oh, now we're going way back. That was after
What was the name of that
the
app
Pete and
again?
Sneakers
Pete
bedtime
oh, Pete and
show.
Sneakers.
Pete and Sneakers.
Does
The
that still
penguin, I think
exist?
they were penguin twins. No, I ended up taking
Okay.
it down.
Down.
Apps got more advanced and I just felt like
That's
I
true.
kept up with the technology.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's interesting about you with the children's books is you're the author and the illustrator.
Mhm.
So back when you did Stick to It Chick, we were feverishly trying to figure out, and this has changed so much. So this is, and I have a lot of people who reach out about children's books. Like, how do I
Mhm.
do this? Because it is a different beast in many ways.
Ooh,
And it's
very much.
right. It's a different beast in the traditional lane, and it's a different beast in the indie lane, just from process and from a marketing standpoint and et cetera. And being someone who does both the illustration and the words, we were like, okay, how do
Where to
we
begin? start?
Where do we even start?
Right.
So we've talked about this, but what are some things that you wish you had known then?
Well, again, I think I didn't know really anything
Right.
about.
I wish I had known something.
I
That's
wish I knew something. I had done research, but I think then, and I know you relate to this, and I know a lot of other authors who can identify with this. I was so excited about the idea that I
Mhm.
kind of wanted to know just enough to kind of cobble through and make it happen. And we did that. But so this is Stick to It Chick. And
Yeah, if people are watching on the video. If not, she's holding up a cover.
it has, oh yeah, I forgot. This is also audio.
Yeah,
Okay, here
mhm.
we go.
We're
Um,
multifaceted over here now,
we're
Erin.
multifaceted.
I even have a new light.
You can tell you're very
Can you?
well illuminated.
Thank you so much.
But I feel like, for one thing, I didn't know anything about transferring the illustrations to and combining them with the manuscript.
Mhm.
So that was very challenging for me. And I kind of reached out to some people that I thought, I didn't kind of reach out. I did reach out to some people that I thought were experts in that field.
Yeah.
But the person that I worked with, and so lovely, but working with a very old software program, and I think it's called Quark. And I think some people
Oh my
will
god,
laugh
yeah.
when they hear that. Because even at the time, this was in, I want to say, I should know
Well,
this,
Scaredy Cat was 28.
2015.
It was 15. Okay,
Yeah,
because Scaredy
Scaredy
Cat
Cat
was
was
18. Because that
yeah.
yeah.
So even then, that was outdated. So that
Yeah.
was something that back then I wish I knew more about. And I
Mhm.
also use Comic Sans, which I know in the scheme of things is a very like minute, like who cares? Like this is meant for kids. But I feel like Comic Sans, whenever you say that, people are like, oh
Oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe those are a couple things that stick out to me in
But
my
that
mind.
being said, okay, because now there's this panic being had by anyone who's done anything with Comic Sans, especially I mean, would I ever put comic I'm not a cover designer as you well know, but other people should probably know that too by now. If you put Comic Sans on the cover of a fiction of a novel, no, that's not gonna
Right.
that's
Good.
not great. That being said, children's books can get away with more. And I'm
That's
not saying it's
true.
the right choice or the wrong choice. I'm saying that if you go out on Amazon and you look at best-selling traditionally published children's books, you will see rules of the traditional world when it comes to adult books being broken all the time.
Right.
So,
Y- Yeah. And if I can jump in,
yeah,
you've been very instrumental and helpful in helping me identify, what really is a book that you should be ashamed of. In other words, you're like, and you're saying it now, like Comic Sans is not a deal breaker. It's not something you need to
right.
be ashamed of. But I think, I ended up pulling it off of Amazon and I went
Yeah.
through, what is it called? Amazon's print on demand.
Well, now it's KDP, but then it was Create Space.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And I ended up taking it down because I felt
Mhm.
embarrassed about it. I felt like it wasn't the quality that it could be. I did not have a professional cover designer. I illustrated it myself. And I do think because children's books in the market is so competitive that I think that does matter. But, when I pulled it off Amazon, I think you were very helpful in helping me understand why. And I remember I was kind of on that tirade. Well, I'm going to redesign the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've never
Mhm.
done that.
Right.
And I don't know. I know you've talked about this with other authors. And I also had some outside influences, even with, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but you're
It's what
used
we
to that.
do. It's fine.
Um, who told me the original title was Chick Magnet because it's about a chicken that's magnetized.
Yeah.
And there's a very well known author in a different space, which I think is important to point out, who
Mhm.
said, don't use that name. That's going to have too many negative connotations. They're going to, they're going to reference it and think about it in terms of like a guy chick magnet. And I remember you back then saying, I don't, I think you like that title, go with it. And
Yeah.
especially now, I mean, there's so many.
Well, we didn't have
Always-
cancel culture back then either. Like now we have
Correct.
to think about everything
That's
that we
true.
say, which is problematic in and of itself. I said something yesterday. I was talking to this Nadia Hashimi who wrote City of Widows,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking about, well, she's, oh my gosh, you're going to love this episode because she was talking about how her parents immigrated to the US from Afghanistan. So she's an Afghan American, and the hippie culture, if you can believe this, was very vibrant in Afghanistan.
Interesting.
Right? I'd never heard of such a thing. And then when I said hippie culture, I was like, "Can I say that?" Like that's how far down the whatever we've gotten of like, can we do that? But back then in 2015, there wasn't, I think the one of the biggest challenges back when you started, I mean, there were several, and there still are, but one of the biggest ones that you dealt with, if I'm remembering correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, is number one, there are a lot of egos in this space who really enjoy being like, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. And sometimes it comes from a good place, right? If someone has a lot of experience in the space, if they've been a children's book editor for 20 years with a chronicle books, I'm going to give you some respect. Like
Sure.
I'm going to hear what you have to say because you have the experience. Other times that's not the case.
Which
Somebody
was
else, yeah.
exactly, and that was the case here is the author, again, brilliant,
Mhm.
but not in the children's book space,
Right.
was in fiction, I
Yeah.
think mystery fiction. And I will never forget this. And I know you might have some feelings about this. But she told me, she said, have you submitted the manuscript to traditional publishers? And I did.
Mhm.
In literary agents, and I got
Mhm.
rejections, which is normal. And I remember her saying to me, well, I don't know why you're getting all these rejections. I sent in one.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember this? I
I
sent
do.
in one submission. I'm assuming it was through a literary agent, and it was accepted immediately. And
Mhm.
even then, with my limited knowledge of publishing, and I remember calling you, and I think I was probably even sobbing
You
because of
were.
what's wrong with
You were.
me.
You were 100% sobbing, and the thing is, I mean, we don't know whether she was telling the truth or not. The thing is that there are very rare instances. I mean, there's the person who bought one lottery ticket in their whole life and actually won the Mega Millions. I don't know who that person is, but I'm certain it's happened at least once. So
Hmm.
maybe she's the one in an 8 billion people or however many who have submitted a gotten an agent. They went out one time and they nailed it. I know of people who have gotten deals with traditional houses without even having an agent. They had to go back because they met somebody who knew somebody who read some pages, and the acquisitions editor was just perfect time, perfect place, perfect everything. All came together, and then they had to go get their agent later because, of course, agents do so much more than just getting you a book deal if
Oh,
you choose
yeah.
to go that route, right?
Yep.
But you had, and I think so many people have these fears of like, okay, so the Comic Sans, as an example, is going to make or break this.
Right.
The whether I choose a glossier, the size of my trim size is going to make or break this. And what you came to understand, and what so many people, myself included, come to understand after the book is released, is those things matter, but not nearly as much. If because I remember asking you, all right, listen, Erin, if this book started selling 5 copies a day
Yeah.
regularly, would you be worried about any of this?
I
And
remember that.
you were like, of course not. And so
Right.
then the question became, well, then why is it not selling 5 copies a day? And there are a million answers for that. But the most obvious one in your case was you weren't talking about it anyway. It was it's
Exactly.
a pretty big secret, right?
Right, because I think that's where the confidence comes in, and I think
Right.
sometimes when you have someone else in the space who is, I don't wanna say negative, but has a totally different experience than you, And we all talk about rejection as authors. I don't care what space you're in. I do
Yeah.
think that it impacts your confidence. And so
Sure.
I did have a hard time in the beginning marketing myself, getting the word out there. And I think, you've been a great mentor to me. That's what I tell everyone. You're still my mentor today. And you were very instrumental and helpful in helping me think of avenues of how I could do that
Mhm.
and break through that lack of confidence. And I think I was actually able to do that. I did a lot of school visits. I got
Libraries.
libraries.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I even, like, did puppet shows, like, that's
Oh my god, oh my god, I remember the puppet shows. That
but
was next
those
level.
a lot of those avenues were successful, so
Yeah.
a lot of it for me is thinking outside the box. You're 100% right, you can't sit there and do nothing and have that expectation that you're gonna sell 5 a day.
Right. I mean, it's not so can we talk about we're leaning into this, but can we talk about the concept of relevance? Because
Absolutely.
I got an email this morning from an author I've been working with for quite some time, and she's writing nonfiction, and she's been really consistent with working on this book a chapter at a time. I'm actually editing it a chapter at a time, which is not the easiest thing to do, but because I've already read it through once in full, it's easier to do. So we're working through this and she's in kind of the midway point. And she said, "I need to book some time with you because I'm stuck." And I asked her, "Okay, what's going on?" And she's like, "It's a mindset thing, right?
Mhm.
I'm not sure this how relevant this is." And I think this is such an interesting concept because you mentioned saturation in the crowded market earlier. It's never been more saturated. There's not a single genre that isn't crowded. If it's not crowded, it's because there's no demand. That's my belief. Or it's like on the rise. I mean, I'm sure there was a time when romantasy only had 2 titles or 3 titles or whatever, and now look at it. We've got genres within romantasy. It's insane. But this feeling of like, who am I to do this? There are already so many books about this. So if we're talking about children's books, if we're talking about robot books or sci-fi, whatever, like there's so much contemporary fiction, memoir, romance, all of it. And this feeling of like, especially if it's your first book, who am I to do this? And why is anyone gonna care?
That's a great
Do you have the
area.
magic answer?
I do not. And I think again, as my mentor, that's something that you've really helped me again look at. And I think where you were especially helpful is what's my motivation of
Right.
tied to relevancy? Is it to push a point across that's really going to be something where the relevancy pushes it through and everybody buys it? Or is it
Mhm.
more that this is a book and the intention is to reach a certain demographic? Or is it purely joy? Because sometimes
Yeah.
that's enough.
Right.
So, and I don't know, I mean, does that seem like a correlation with relevancy? I mean,
For
I get
sure.
what I think of is was Dr. Seuss when he pitched and we know his story, he had a million rejections. Nobody got it. I mean,
Nobody got it.
nobody got it. And I just wonder, I don't know much about this aspect of his wondering what the relevancy was of his
Hey,
books.
not only did he have trouble getting to Sala Salou, but everyone else had trouble getting to Sala Salou because what the hell is Sala Salou, right?
Exactly.
And now I love Dr. Seuss because I love to make up words and you love to, we make up words
Well,
constantly.
they were silly and they were,
Yes.
there was because of his background, an educational component, probably emotional component.
Sure.
But, when I think of other authors that I grew up with, James Marshall, who wrote the George and Martha series, which is about two hippos. If you haven't, if you're not familiar, pick up some copies. Richard
Richard Scarry.
Scary,
Yeah.
and his little characters. So all of these
Yeah.
authors I've been really inspired by.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying see, here I go again, like, disparaging myself. I'm not as, even though I'm not in the same class as them, but I look at them, and there's this sort of free abandon with their writing and their creativity that I just love, and that's how I've
Yeah.
gone into my stories.
Mhm.
And as you know, the Sassafras Ranch, that's
Mhm.
where these 2 stories take place, and the whole tagline is, "What makes you weird is what makes you wonderful." So is
Yeah.
that gonna be relevant to everybody? No, but I think there
Right.
are a lot of weirdos like me out there, or, and deep within
Well,
these
yeah.
stories about somebody who feels deeply different,
Yes, out of
who
place.
feels
Mhm.
out of place,
Yeah.
but then they understand in the other, not just the character, the main character who feels different, but the in this case, animals around this
Mhm.
magnetic chick, this scaredy cat, realize that what were once considered character defects are actually assets in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of the relevancy. There are times when I'm like, well, maybe I wish it could sell more, do better. But if I go back to, and this is where you help me over and over again when I get into that
And
mindset,
vice versa.
well, yeah, it's like, what's the relevancy to me?
It takes a village, truly, not to be cliche, but it really does take a lot of people, I think, and a great community, which this space to me is such an incredible community of people to remind you, to remind yourself, and I'm speaking of myself here, why we're doing it.
Yes.
Because as so many authors have echoed on this podcast, it's typically not for the money or the
No.
fame or the it's because I mean, the reasons are varied, and they include things like, "I can't not tell the story. It just brings me joy. I experienced this thing, and I wanna share how I navigated it with someone else." The list goes on and on and on, but when you can come back to what success means to you in this space, it's helpful to block out all the other stuff.
Yes.
And things just take time. I mean, so right now, your secondary thing, if you want to call like your other job, because
Right.
multifaceted over here, right, is you run the Best of the Southwest, which features properties and resorts and experiences and restaurants all throughout the Southwest. And you've had to remind yourself that even within that space, we look out and there are lots of other people who are featuring, I mean, travel, blogging and posting and social, all the things. I mean, the last thing that you want to ever be called as an influencer, we've talked about this a million times,
Right.
because you're not trying to influence anybody to do anything. You're just sharing great properties and people and experiences. But that takes time to build too. It's
It does. And it
yeah.
comes with the same set of expectations,
Right.
just in different ways. And this sounds so cliche, but I'm bringing it back to joy. It's like,
Yeah.
I, when I start getting caught up in Google Analytics and, oh my gosh, my readership dropped, or, this region isn't performing as better as this one. It reminds me of when I was, working on these children's books, and I look at them today and say, well, I wish the precision was better in the design.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
that I worked with someone else to outsource these certain parts. But if I can go back to that source of joy,
Mhm.
and having these silly characters and having fun with the Best of the Southwest and getting to travel with my bestie, those are the things that help
I'm the
ground me.
CEO. I need everyone. That's one of my side jobs. We do a couple things over here too. I'm the CEO, which to be clear stands for Chief Aaron Operator.
And boy, do I need you, because
Just
without,
make sure Aaron needs to be at this
oh,
point after our last trip. We went to Denver, what, 2 weeks ago. I
yeah,
have a whole list of, I'm going to have a mini travel suitcase just of things that I need to have in the event that. So the latest addition to that is plastic cutlery,
Yes.
right? Because I forget where we were
It
staying, but
happen yeah, it happens
yeah.
more often than you think. You get the to
We
go
went and got the takeout food, got all the way back to our room, plunked ourselves down on the beds. We were ready to go in our pajamas eating. There was no
no
there
cutlery.
was no silverware.
We're ready now.
Luckily, I had gotten
Liz has
tacos, but you
she
didn't.
she's got the sewing kit, she's got the
Yes.
cutlery, maybe some backup jewelry next time because I found myself
Oh, that's a good point, yeah. So, I mean,
like,
we're
if you
all
ask for
out here.
backup jewelry, but, like,
Well, no, like, we're all out here just doing but that brings me joy. It brings you joy. It's
it
just something we
does.
get story ideas. We get, I get scene ideas. I mean, they're just kind of it all feeds itself. But if you not if, when you do the next children's book, what is there anything you can think of that you will do differently, either because of what you've learned from the first 2 or
Mm,
because maybe there's now new technology, like with images because you paint? You do a bunch of different things.
I
Like you've
work
used
with
colored pencil.
yeah, I work with several mediums, so
Mhm.
primarily I work with watercolor pencil,
Yeah.
which I love. I feel like that has a little bit more control for me. And then I do acrylic paint. And then my latest project that I've recruited you help with
Oh, I'm so
is
excited about this.
felting my
Oh god.
characters, and
Right.
which has proven
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
that has
Well,
proven time consuming, but
you've already gotten through what'd we do first? A beaver or something? I'm embarrassed to say that's what we did. Was it a chipmunk? It was a chipmunk.
chipmunk, fox,
My god. It really does felting. It's like, how hard can this be? People, I don't
it's
know about you, but it's not like my chipmunk's cheeks are wildly asymmetrical. Like
but doesn't but you pointed out to me in one of the ones that I made, the eye kept falling out, and I was like,
oh
but then you pointed out to me, "Hey, since I write a lot about being different and
yeah,
unique, keep the eye out. Let
keep
those
the
cheeks be asymmetrical." That's, again, that's part of the joy. Like, again, and I
yeah.
know I that you talk to your other authors about this, things don't have to be perfect.
They're
I mean,
never going to be
there's never
perfect,
going to be.
right?
And would you say that you tell people that it's normal to question, that it's normal to come back and
I'm concerned when people don't. So at this point, with oh my gosh, however many years are under my belt at doing this, I'm concerned when people message me and say, "This is a bestseller. Mark my words. Like, this is no one's ever done this before." That is a huge red flag. I know we've got an issue right from the jump. So every author I've ever spoken with or heard about or anything who has landed on any reputable bestseller list or sells books consistently and sustainably, which is important, they have doubt through the whole you don't just one day wake up and you have no doubt anymore.
thank
Right?
you for pointing that out. I think it's so important.
I mean, you could have 8 years of running sustainable success, and now you're going, "But will this next book go?"
Yeah, absolutely. And, circling back to the original question, because we have to go,
Oh,
tribute.
yeah, we have to circle our way. Mhm.
But yeah, so I think that's where, okay, if though precision is something that has kind of m- maybe irked me a little bit about my previous projects. Okay, learn from that. So maybe I
Right.
outsource
Mhm.
some of the, illustrations to page, to formatting, and definitely cover. I'm definitely going to outsource the cover.
Yeah. Which and again, that's not me saying, "Yeah, you should," because I should have to, need to, must. Like, when I say 'em, I try to catch myself so much because that's not coming from a place of what you want. It's coming from the outside, not to
Mhm.
get woo woo. But when it comes to marketing, Is there anything that you might focus on differently
Ooh,
or
love that question. And can I make a quick plug though, that I've never doubted my editor. Shame
and
Shameless plug for Elizabeth
well,
Warren.
and let me say this, as I may or may not be that editor, and by that I mean I
She
was.
is.
Um, Editing children's books is its own art, and I do not advertise that as my wheelhouse.
No. I
It is like, how do you I mean,
So maybe that
my
was a plug I
goodness.
shouldn't have done, but I'm just saying I've never had to worry about that.
Well,
So
I will make sure that your punctuation is in the your apostrophe. That's for damn sure. But, like, as far as what should you again, it's I think with children's books, there's a lot of freedom of
I agree with
artistic
that.
creativity
I
because
agree with that.
if Dr. Seuss can ma we're not all Dr. Seuss, I get that, but, I mean, come on.
Come on. Yeah. So I
It's
mean, I
yeah.
think yeah, your question about marketing, I
Mhm.
love that question. And it instantly got me thinking like when 2015, 2018, there was more traction on things like Instagram. I don't even know, was TikTok a thing in
No, I don't
2015,
think so.
2018?
I
If
don't
it
think
was,
so.
I think it was first getting started.
Yeah,
So I didn't have those at my disposal.
right.
So I'm wondering now with the next one, what that'll look like
Yeah.
using those formats, using YouTube, and seeing how that might integrate into what I've done before, which is doing
Mhm.
in-person visits and, setting up readings and that avenue.
Well, and I think so you raise another great point, and this is true for any genre of book, but some authors really crave and want to do the in-person stuff and others really shy away from it for a variety of reasons. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. When you're selling a children's book on Amazon, let's be honest, you're selling to parents or
Mm.
caregivers or aunts or grandparents or godparents or whatever because the 3-year-olds are I really do hope not surfing Amazon, right? So
Not
so but when you can do a library visit or a school visit
mhm.
and you're right there connecting with those kids, whether or not they because I've watched you do this, whether or not even if there are no parents there to buy the book, and so sometimes the schools have bought the book and they distribute them out or the library, whatever. I don't think
Yeah, they have
do
flip.
libraries purchase books?
They You know what? I don't know, but what they
Like in
do
bulk? Like
do
I mean, I know they do, but in
yeah,
for
but
events like that? Okay.
what they do allow is for the authors to, or at
To
least
sell them.
they've allowed me to
Yeah.
sell them on site. And one of the things that was successful for me with the school visits is to do like a slip, like an ordering slip.
Yes,
Now I would
mhm.
do it, obviously do it online, but back with the paper trail.
Yeah.
And then that way kids, they hopefully get excited and go home with their slip of paper. It's, I really want this book, like,
Yeah.
the Scholastic book fairs, as far as I know.
Exactly.
I've heard from parents, those are still wildly popular,
It's crazy. They
right?
are.
They
Yes.
are. So, I think that's another way to do it. But
Yeah.
to your point, I have pulled back on doing things in person, and that's kind of, I'm older now. I don't have as much energy, and anybody who's marketing or seeking to market a children's book, one thing I would caution them
Mhm.
based on my experience is when you do those in-person visits, limit yourself to the number of visits you're doing at the school. So I was going to, these weren't big assemblies. I was going
Oh,
to
I remember
classroom to
this.
classroom to classroom.
Yep.
I would do a whole day of school going to different classrooms. And by the end of the day, I didn't have a voice. I was
No.
exhausted and
No. You're like, "Welcome to
not,
the Sassafras Ranch, people."
I know. And I'm
And
not,
the kids were exhausted too.
and the kids were exhausted.
Yeah.
And I really like to get kids excited about not just reading, but writing. So these visits were heavily interactive. So not only am I reading to them, Then
Mhm.
we're doing writing exercises, we're doing,
Yeah.
practicing illustration. So, and as you remember, I was not charging, which I now
Right.
look back and think, even though I was just starting out, I was still doing that with Scaredy Cat, my second book.
Yeah, I don't think you weren't, if I may interject, and this
Please.
isn't to say it's right or wrong to charge. That's its own decision for each individual person and the whole thing. The issue wasn't that you weren't charging because you had made a conscious choice not to. You were not charging because you didn't feel
There it
like
is.
you right? Like you could, like you should, like you there is that
Like
word,
I
but in that way
deserved it.
like you
Yeah.
there you go. There you go. So again, whether you do or don't is that's not the point that is being made here. It's where do these visits sit in your ecosystem of joy, of business, of getting the word out? Like all these things intersect and each individual person, it's very helpful to define for yourself how you want to run your author business at this specific point in time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really excited for the last question with you
Okay.
because we love to make up words. This is one of my new questions. What is your favorite word right now to use?
Oh my
It
gosh.
doesn't have to be crazy. Like, I'm not testing like how many syllables and how magnanimous is your vocabulary.
Oh, nice use of
Oh,
magnanimous.
that's true. That was good, wasn't it? Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I do love big words, but I also love small words with big impact.
Could this be a word that doesn't exist in the dictionary? Like it's
100%. I told you, Jordan Roeder, perimenoporn.
pause for peeing in my pants laughter.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that?
You know you did, but I
Oh,
just
you
had
just
to
wanted to
laugh
laugh
about
again?
it. And
Yeah,
think I
perimenoporn.
I
She's like,
think
it's not a real word. Is that okay? I was like, yeah,
well, and I
even
think
better.
that I one time said Mary Penopause,
You did.
which menopause is not Mary, so I'm not
No,
sure
but
how that came about.
let's make it
That's not
fun.
the word I'm choosing today.
Oh,
So the
okay.
word I would like to choose, and for some reason I feel like maybe you made this up. Nervous sighted. So like I'm nervous, but I'm
Oh.
excited.
Oh, no, I made up
Nervous sight.
nervousing many years ago, but nervous-sighted, no, that's you.
So I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
I like it.
Just kind of my natural state of being
Me too. Nervous-sighted.
excited.
Everyone should be nervous-sighted for Mary Penniporn. Wait, did
Or
I say it
Mary.
right?
No, not Mary.
Mary Penopause. Mary
Or
what?
wait. Oh, Mary Penopause.
Yeah, people should just be excited about perimenoporn.
They should. And they should run for the hills if they have Mary Penopause.
That's true. That's true. See, this could be a book, not for children, but
Well, yeah, because part
or
of
maybe so. Understanding Your Aging Mother, a
okay,
guide.
bestseller, coffee table book.
No one's ever done this. I have the best idea.
Yeah, no one's ever done it.
Yeah.
We claim it.
Can you ask me what my favorite word is right now?
Yeah, I would. What's your favorite word?
Okay. I don't mean to prompt you. I was really hoping you'd just do it on your own. Like I
Take
thought I
in.
tried to communicate with my eyes, but you didn't do it. So
I'm
I just
sorry.
it's okay.
But
Do you want to know this is great. It's and this is just for Anne Garvin if she's watching.
hi, Ann.
Preternat yeah,
Sorry.
preternatural. Preternaturally.
Ooh.
She said on the other day when I last had her on, which was I think 2 episodes, 3 episodes ago, no, it was 1 episode ago. It doesn't matter. I think it's episode 173 or 174. Asked her what her favorite word is, and she said, I don't know what my favorite word is, but you know what word I'm really sick. This is so Anne. I'm really sick of hearing in books or reading in books. And I said, what? She said, preternaturally. I said, what the hell books are you reading? I don't remember the last time I saw that in a book. She said, it's everywhere. Everything's happening
Now I'm getting
preternaturally.
Yeah, now I'm gonna notice that all the time.
What does that even mean?
I don't remember.
Because I don't really know what it means and it doesn't seem to make sense if you break it out linguistically, I'm using it in my own way, and that's why it's become my new favorite word. I'm like, "That is so preternatural."
There's another word, and I know we're probably going over, but I
It's
wanna
fine.
ask you because it's not coming to mind because this is what happens with perimenopause, you can't think of
Uh,
the word,
for sure.
hence perimenopause, how that came to be, but
Mhm.
it means superlative.
Oh,
I I keep like, almost everything I've been reading lately has superlative, and I'm like, "Do we really use that word commonly?"
I mean, I don't, I just use the superlative, so never and always. Those are 2 of my favorite words because I get called on it by people a lot. Because really, how
Oh,
many things are yeah, how many things are always or never? But I can think of some.
I can think of some.
But you're saying the actual word, like the superlative. What are you reading?
Superlative. What am I reading?
Yeah, that you're seeing superlative.
S I mean, I feel like it's across genres. I feel like it's fictions I've read,
That's
speculative
crazy.
fiction, sci-fi, superlative.
I'm not reading those genres, but
Here we go.
everyone needs to keep their eye out. We need to keep a running list of like what are the new we're very clear on the trending genres. What are the trending words right now?
Love to know that.
I
Listener,
mean,
submit. Submit your words. Ooh, I regret saying it like that.
I love it, and you know what it made me think of? We're gonna end on this. You
Okay.
do the best Moira Rose. God, Catherine O'Hara, miss you. Like, what are we gonna do? You do the best Moira Rose impression ever.
You think?
Can you do the disgruntled pelican, please?
Oh, David, stop acting like a No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Let me think of a different one.
Okay,
She says,
you choose.
um, "Alexis, for once in your life."
I mean, you're the one who got me into Schitt's Creek.
Oh,
Because I started watching it and I didn't get into it, and then you and I were on a trip somewhere and you mentioned it, and I said, "I couldn't get into it," and you said, "Oh my god, we're starting at episode 1, you're good." And I for some reason, I don't know, second time was a charm, I got totally hooked, and now I've seen the whole series no fewer than 35 times, and
same.
we just you got me into, "Ooh, David." I didn't do it right, but,
David. It's like
yeah.
a witch's house in here, David. Here's my Alexis.
It's just you did one once of the wigs when she was like, "So and so doesn't like being next to so."
Oh my gosh, yes. I wish I could right after we get off this call, I'm gonna think
Of
about it.
course. It was like, because
Well,
it's when they're
I love when there was an episode, it was the last season, and something was like Roland had made something in the toaster and it was burning, and she's in the closet, "This is not how I die!"
oh, that show's gonna go down in history.
That's wonderful.
It's brilliant. And I might note, not many people paid attention to it until season 5. Look at
Right.
the
I
cast.
I liked it from the way back.
I know, but my point for people who are like, you know, do you understand my point? Look at the cast. You got Eugene Levy, Dan Levy, Catherine O'Hara. Come on. You
I
would
know,
think
Andy
that would
Murphy.
be a nailed it from season 1, episode 1, and it took until I think season 5 for people to really start talking about it.
Well, yeah, because when I first watched it, it took me about 4 or 5 episodes in before I got it, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
maybe that's what happened is people gave it less than 4 or 5 and
Maybe
just
that's
thought,
what happened to me is I didn't really get it. And then you helped me get it
"Then
because that's
got it."
totally your like, that's your vibe, your language, your wheelhouse. I
Oh,
hate the word wheelhouse, and I'm so disappointed that I've used it twice in this episode.
I
I love you. Thank you
I love
so
you
much
too.
for joining.
Thank you for having me.